In this short video, let's look at how association rules work. Many of you refer to association rules also to affinity rules. So what does association mean? It's very simple. It's if somebody buys or somebody has preference for A, then C. Now, why do I say C instead of B? Let's discuss that. So A refers to antecedent, something that comes before. When I buy something first, then I have a consequent. That's why we use if A, then C. So if I buy bread, then I'm likely to buy cheese. Or if I buy this particular book, I'm likely to buy another book. So that's the way we use. Let's take a simple example with Amazon. So here is an example of trying to buy a book on data mining. So you search for that. So if you actually go down to this, it says frequently bought together. Basically, it takes what people have bought together and identifies them, and you can bundle it and get a better price. This is what we call the price bundling. If you go further down on Amazon, it says customers who bought this item also bought, and they show many different books. Doesn't mean that everybody who bought the first book also bought this, but there's very likely that you buy these books. That's what we're talking about. If A, then C. So if you bought the book on data mining practical machine learning tools and techniques, it is very likely you're going to buy the books that are listed here, data mining concepts and techniques or something. And each one has certain level of probability. So that's the basics about association rule. Now how you can use it? We can use it for many different things. How do I place different products together? If they are very closely connected, I might put them together, close to each other. Or I might put them far apart so people walk around and buy more things in between. But in this example, it depends on who is your clientele. If your customers are very busy customers, they like to quickly pick up things and move out. So you want to put them together. Or how do you want to do promotion? So if you know that if I buy one, I'm very likely to buy the other one, then I don't have to promote the other one. So if you can promote the first one, it is likely going to buy, people are going to buy the second one. Product placement, promotions, coupons. What kind of coupons should I send to people depending on what they buy? So this is typically, that's why it's often called market basket analysis. Market basket analysis. So you go to your grocery store and you buy a whole bunch of things in your basket. The question is, what do you buy together? An understanding of that can be used for pricing, promotions, placement, and even inventory management. How much inventory do you want to hold that are closely related? So let's look at the basics of it. How does it work? So one is called the confidence. How much confidence do you have in that rule? If A, then C. A refers to antecedent, C refers to consequent. So confidence. So basically confidence is nothing but probability of C given A. If somebody buys A, what is the likelihood they buy C? Now how do you calculate this? So it's basically if you have a database and you have a large number of transactions that has bought A and a lot of transactions that has bought A and C. So we look at calculating this as number of transactions that has both A and C divided by number of transactions that has A. So it's nothing but the probability of C given A. So you need to know this is what we are calculating. You're calculating a whole bunch of conditional probabilities. Now the question is, there are lots of rules that you get may not be very meaningful. You get a lot of this spurious relationship because everything has some probability. but you want to look at interesting one. What are the interesting ones? For example, if I buy, say, iPhone, what is the likelihood I will buy an iPad? That likelihood of me buying could be 10 times more. I don't know. So if any customer walks in might buy an iPad, but if that customer has already bought an iPhone in the past, then that likelihood will be much, much higher. So those are very interesting for us. Or if somebody buys this, the likelihood of somebody buying another one is very, very low, and I can just ignore that. So for this particular example, we look at what are people likely to buy something more. So if I bought A, what is the likelihood I'll buy C? So that's what we talked about, probability of C given A. The question is, how do you know something is very interesting? For which we need to know what is the probability of C. This is what we call the benchmark confidence. Benchmark confidence. So which basically says number of transactions that have C divided by number of transactions in your database. So that's the probability of C. In simple terms, if you're talking about iPad, a whole bunch of customers come to the store, what is the likelihood this particular customer is going to buy iPad? Now, the question is, now we are interested in the conditional probability of C given A. The question is, how relevant is it? So for which we come up with this whole notion of what we call lift ratio. Now, what does that lift ratio mean? Hey, I know that there is a probability of somebody buying C. What happens to the likelihood of buying C if I've already bought A? How much more probability? That's what you're looking at, the lift ratio. So which means, so you're looking at the probability of C given A, sorry. So C given A divided by probability of C. So this is nothing but your confidence over benchmark confidence. So let's take the example of iPad and iPhone. So it says probability of somebody buying iPad given that they bought iPhone divided by the probability of buying iPad. So we know the probability of somebody buying an iPad. What happens to that probability? How much likely is it going to go up if somebody has already bought an iPhone? So anytime when it is greater than 1, we know that the likelihood is actually going up. So it's useful to us. So if this number is, say, 12, which means the likelihood of somebody buying an iPad goes up by 12 times if they have bought iPhone. So this is how you do the association rule. So you can calculate manually, but it's going to get very cumbersome if you have thousands of products and millions of transactions. Instead, we have tools that can generate this association rules. These are basically correlations and conditional probabilities. You know what is the benchmark confidence. You can calculate the lift ratios, and then we can say, hey, which one makes sense? We obviously want higher lift ratios. We obviously want higher confidence. So then we'll try to analyze which are the important rules for us. So for now, this is the basic theory. Let's go look at the actual tool, something like RStudio or Excel Miner or SPSS, and generate these association rules.